idea what there was such thing.
Yeah, you know.
I always love to learn.
Who was here last year at the new series?
All these people were, so fess up. Oh, she didn't like us.
Okay.
Sight unseen, she's hating on Smith.
Last year, I was on the new series review panel, and that weekend, the pictures of Matt Smith came out, and I said that I didn't like him. He was too emo. He was all this stuff. I didn't like him at all. I hated him.
You must have hated Tennant.
And I thought, I still think he was emo. But I actually, as the series went through, I actually started to like him.
I was one of the few people up here who knew that Matt Smith was going to be awesome right from the get-go.
Woot.
And I love that. I know Alan was saying that there wasn't enough of a stylistic break, but I loved the different way that Matt Smith did play the Doctor. He was a little weird, a little balmy, and it really harkened back to the older Doctors where he really was eccentric. He wasn't just, and all respects to David Tennant because he was an awesome Doctor, but David Tennant really had kind of a seriousness to him, a gravitas, if you will. And Matt Smith has that too, but he's still a little loopy. He's like the first new classic Doctor that we've had.
Yeah. Well, there's two interesting things. He didn't really find his leg, I think, until Vampires of Venice, where it started to sort of be his emotional sort of thing, which the old school Doctors, they did that with the first 2 or 3 stories.
Well, actually, I started with David Tennant because I'm about the same age as Matt Smith, and
You're on the panel because
so
why?
I understand when he says I grew up in an era really without a doctor because I went most of my life until like 3-4 years ago, but with Matt, I was willing to give him a chance, and he really had me from the moment he said, "Can I have an apple?" And
Yeah.
you can give, you can, obviously, they're David Tennant scripts, but no two actors play the same role the same way, and he gave that his own unique thing. And like I've been saying, it's, of course, a little crazy at first, but it's almost like stirring up a pitcher. Eventually the contents settle, you get into a rhythm, you get to what you understand, what you feel comfortable with, and it gets better from there. And it was something that I didn't like at first in The Beast Below when he snapped at Amy.
See, I love that.
Because I didn't like, I wouldn't have ever expected to have seen David do that with Billy or Freema or anyone else, but when he took that, like, nobody human has anything to say to me today, and you tried to take this decision away from me.
Wow, I thought that was brilliant.
Where'd this
Well, you kind of get some of that at the last episode of Tennant. You kind of get some of that. That's kind of a carryover. At the end of, I love the Tennant finale, how just absolutely friggin' fearless he was.
Yeah.
So.
And you certainly got some of that in the early episode too.
Definitely.
When he said, Rose, there are different moralities in different places and times. If you can't understand that, go home.
Yeah.
So he has been harsh on occasion.
If you're in the back, there's still a couple seats over on this side over here. Or if you want to come in the front.
There's plenty of carpet over there.
Alan, think of Daleks. Think of how strong of a character he was. He was so violently angry at the Daleks.
Yeah, it seemed to, and I think that seemed appropriate because with the Ninth Doctor, we're getting somebody who's just come out of the Time War, just pretty much had to destroy his entire civilization in order to destroy his enemies. And when he sees this other one, he flips. It's, but other than just a streak of anger, I think there's a little more of a frenetic gesture with Matt Smith that I like, and kind of an absent-mindedness. Like somebody mentioned, he was kind of senile. He almost forgets where he is and who he's talking to at times, which I like, and I think that adds to his eccentricity.
I know David Tennant, he was
talking so fast that you can hardly understand them some of the times. I know my wife said, "What did he say?" Because she can't hear very well. She can only hear out of one ear.
That
What did he say?
was the accent coming through those songs.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of that. But David was doing that bit, and Matt he's just going this and that. He's just going in so many different directions, but yet he's talking almost normal. But yet his mind's going this way and then this way and then that way, and
He doesn't have as much dialogue.
he doesn't have much.
I mean, like, I feel like I like Tennant's tirades. You know, I love them. They made me. I love his candid. I enjoyed it, but I kind of also, at the same note, like the fact that he's more gesticular. Like he doesn't really. He uses his whole body. Matt Smith uses his whole body when he's expressing something, and he'll say like 3 or 4 words, and you're like, "Are you serious?"
The confidential where they mirror him, he's doing this with his hands constantly.
Yes.
I feel like the only real criticism that I can give him, besides the fact that he was emo, is the fact that he was too weird at first. Like, I like the fact that he was weird in the opening scene. I thought that was quirky and neat, that he was kind of looking for food.
He was the Marty McFly doctor.
And figuring it out. But I think that it was too weird to really to jump in right then with him. I wish he would have got more senile at slowlier, like more slow towards the beginning of the season. I wish that he had been a little bit still similar, and then got to where we got the crazy weird doctor that we have now, which I like him now, but it took me a while to kind of go on that journey with him and jump in. It wasn't really until Vampires of Venice that I said, "All right, I'm in. I'm in with you. I understand the scene where they're in front of the pool. You know, that's when I was like, I'm in. I'm sold."
Well,
But it took that
I gotta look
long
on Mick.
for me to really invest in him because he was too all over the place. He was too scattered for me.
Well, a lot of it though, and I know with you it's different because you've seen him, but for a lot of people, the way I understand from talking to people in England and being over there and talking to people is that if you watch the classic show, you are willing to be patient, give Matt Smith more time because you understand that they were returning a lot of the older elements of the original series into the regeneration process and the launching of the new Doctor. If you were a new fan that started with either Eccleston or Tennant, you were just kind of like, all right, let's go. Because the first 2 Doctors since the show got relaunched were just boom, go. And this was like boom, okay, and then go.
Yeah.
So there's a certain adjustment in the pacing, I think, and that's kind of the key issue with a lot of them. But either way, I mean, there's perfectly good reason. You can like both. It's perfectly okay. It's not like
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything more to say. Those
Okay.
are all good answers already.
I think what we'll do, since we have like slews and slews of people, and we have the Bertettes over here, and I guess however you 2 lovely ladies want to do this, you want to divide the room in half, and one take this side, one take that side. If you guys have comments or things.
There's only one mic.
There's only one mic?
We can get
Well,
this one.
you take care of it. You can just-
Yeah, give it a shot.
I actually will.
It's anything and everything pertaining to women and Doctor Who. Now, we've just announced we're following this up with a book called Whedonistas, which is basically women and the worlds of Joss Whedon. Yes. So we have a number of award-winning authors lined up for that one, and that's out in March. Although it'll be sale early at Gallifrey. So that's some of the stuff we do. Gallifrey the convention, not the.